All right, Rebels, welcome to the beginning of something different. This is Podcaster's Business Insider, the daily show where creators stop playing small and start building like business owners. Here, we don't chase downloads for vanity. We build systems, strategies, and shows that actually pay the bills. If you ever felt stuck, recording into the void, wondering if your podcast will ever grow into more than just a hobby, this is where the guesswork ends. Because you're not just a podcaster, you're a founder, a strategist, a builder. And together, we're going to turn your mic into a media empire. So buckle up, Pod Rebels, because clarity beats chaos, strategy beats hustle, and momentum beats perfection. Let's get into it. But before we deep dive in today's show, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. We're stepping into American Thanksgiving week, a time where families slow down, reconnect, and reflect. And even though I'm broadcasting from Canada, I want to wish all my American friends, listeners, family, and extended Rebel family a happy, peaceful, and truly restful Thanksgiving week. This holiday isn't just about turkey and football. It's a reminder of gratitude, tradition, faith, and the simple truth that strong families build strong nations. And in a world that's moving faster than ever, where creators feel pressured to publish nonstop, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is pause, breathe, and remember why you started. So today's episode is here to help you re anchor before the industry takes its next massive leap. And speaking of gratitude, one thing I never take for granted is where all of you are tuning in from. This community isn't just local, it's global. And every time I check the analytics, I'm reminded that this rebel movement stretches far and wider than I ever expected. So let me take a moment to recognize some of you directly. To the rebel listener watching from North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany, I see you. To my rebels in Texas and over in the England in the UK, thank you for being part of this movement. And across Canada, out in British Columbia, in Quebec, in Alberta, Manitoba, and right here with me in Ontario, your support means everything. To those watching, to those of you watching from Australia and California, even though YouTube doesn't show me exactly where your location is, know this. You are a part of this rebellion. Your time is the one thing you don't get back. And the fact that you choose to spend part of your day here with me building your shows like a business means more than you can ever imagine. And I want to send out a special thank you to at Raquel Knight 5992 over on YouTube for your question about the artist in the video. I did respond to the comments, but I wanted to answer you right here as well. The artist that I used in that video and all my videos for my shorts are from the paid version of Opus Clip, their music library on the paid plan. I hope that helps. And thank you for being engaged, curious, and fully dialed into this journey. All right, let's get back into it. Let me take a swig of water here. Let me bring you back to a moment every creator knows well. Late nights, a late night, blank screen, that quiet moment where the world goes still. And you wonder, is any of this actually going to work? We've all been there, and it hits the hardest right before the breakthrough. I remember sitting alone with my mic, with no audience, no momentum, wondering whether the world even needed another voice. But here's the truth I learned slowly and very painfully. The world doesn't need another voice, another podcaster. It needs people willing to lead, not influencers, not trend chasers, not content creators. It needs leaders, builders, founders with conviction. And right now, with everything happening in this industry, including the news we're about to break down, the world is about to reward that kind of creator even more than before. This isn't motivational fluff. This is economics, media history, and timing all converging at the same moment. And Thanksgiving week is the perfect time to talk about this because when most people slow down, the rebels quietly prepare for the next leap. So, let's get into the news for today. First article comes to us from Pod News? No, not Pod News. Wow. I have the link and I'll send the link below. Global podcast markets forecast to jump tenfold by 2034. Some direct quotes from the article. The global podcast market is expected to grow from 25 billion to over 200 billion by 2034. Creator-led brands will be a major driver of monetization, with niche content outperforming broad formats. So why this matters. Legacy media mocked podcasting for years. Now the numbers prove they were wrong. And the growth isn't being driven by giant studios. It's being fueled by independent creators speaking directly to their audience. This tenfold boom means, get ready, more ad dollars to smaller creators, more partnerships for niche shows, more room for conviction-based content to thrive. And the conservative truth, explosive markets reward discipline, systems, and conviction. Period. Here are two of my takes on this. This is the final decade where small creators can rise into major players. Consolidation will follow the boom. So get ready for that. And then my second take on this proves niche is greater than mass appeal, and that audiences reward authenticity and values over watered down mainstream messaging. Now, how can you, as a rebel indie podcaster or quote unquote content creator, use this to your advantage? Go deep into your niche. We go through this in the 15 step to kickstart your podcast. Go really deep into your niche, not too deep where you're literally speaking to one person, only one person will actually listen to. Just there is a buffer between 20,000 and I'd say 100,000 people that would listen to your show. That's how niche you want to get your show. You want to build systems during holiday downtime We are doing that now. We're converting into a few different avenues, mostly for cost savings and trying to limit the amount of tools that we use, because there's a lot of tools that we use and we're trying to get rid of some of them and consolidate a lot of those tools. And we're doing that this week and over the next couple of weeks. And finally, you need to prepare for you need to prepare you need to prepare for the wave before it hits. So now that you know about this news, start looking at your show and start figuring out, how can I cash in on this? Second article, New York Times turns its podcast playbook into video growth. New York Times is shifting major resources to video-based podcast formats, and they cite audience demand for visual-first storytelling. Why this matters. Institutions, they don't innovate. They just react. New York Times is pivoting because creators are dominating the culture. They're trying to reclaim territory they've already lost. And the more institutions step in, the more audience crave authenticity. They're too late on this. Are they going to be a success? I do see them sticking around for the long term, only because they have the money and the funds to do so. If they didn't have the funds to do so and the infrastructure, let's face it, they have studios that outweigh this studio 1,000 times to one. Not just New York Times, but also CNN, but also CBC. You're starting to see them coming out with their own podcasts. Everybody, all these big names in sports and media and um, news and all this stuff, they're all coming up with their own podcast now. And it's like, we've been doing this for decades, and now you guys just woke up. Good for you. Good for you. We're already pivoting. Legacy media entering validates the space. That's partially true. And that's a good, in one way, it is a good thing because, like I said, it does validate the podcasting space. The problem is they have very scripted and polished content. People are not demanding that. People are demanding more raw, more real, more I'm talking to you rather than I'm talking at you. And these big time media giants, they talk at you where we talk to you. So there's a big difference. So that when you start to see these big guys coming into the space, you're going to see more of these smaller guys starting to blow up. Not because of anything, because they want authenticity. So how are some other ways that you as a rebel podcaster can take advantage of this? Start simple. Start simple video now. If you're not doing video, there is a study out there that there is more audio being played than video, only because transit. Most of it's transit. We're releasing an episode tomorrow with Maxwell Ivy, and he's going to be talking about he's going to be talking about accessibility and the importance of having accessibility into your show for the blind and the deaf and the physically enabled. There are things that we can do as podcasters that we can pivot to give them the ability to consume our content. And it's a great show. When it launches tomorrow, do yourself a favor. Just take the hour and just listen to what Max has to say. He's also known as the blind blogger because he is blind. Another way that you can use this to your advantage: shorts for discovery. We're utilizing shorts. All these people, and that's not half of the people that I actually locations that I actually reached, that I made a shout out to. Not even half. All through shorts. 98% of it is from shorts that people find me. Shorts work. And you got to turn your long form to build trust. So we have the short forms, which are the shorts, which are the captions and all that stuff that go on to social media for discovery. Then we have these lives to keep you informed. And then for further trust, we have the podcasts. See how we build it? So there's a flow to it. And what you want to do, the final thing that you want to do to take to your advantage, is lean into stories corporate media won't touch. We haven't done this yet. We're still trying to figure out a few things here with this transition now to a couple of other new platforms. It's a little bit of a headache. Control Alt Elite is taking a little bit of a step back because of it. But that is life, my friends. And that is the life of an indie podcaster, is that we have the ability to do this and do this quickly, rather than corporate media, which takes years upon years to do anything, to move out of their molds. Well, what worked 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago is not working today. What worked last week might not work today. Anyways, let's move on. The main theme of this episode, as you could have guessed, is that the next decade belongs to the podcaster who builds like a founder, not a follower. This is the decade where small creators rise, where niche voices dominate, where conviction beats neutrality, where communities beat corporations, and where systems beat hustle. Tie this to Thanksgiving. While most of the world is slowing down this week, rebels are reflecting, recalibrating, and prepping to lead. Your mission matters. Your voice matters. Your consistency matters. And 2026 is just around the corner. Start now, and you'll enter the boom already moving at full speed. So here are 4 things that I want you to do today, this week. Speak clearly, not politically correctly. Get rid of that political correctness. Say what you mean. Tie your message to real culture, not corporate narratives. You need to build relationships, not algorithms. You need to publish with consistency, discipline, and conviction. I'll give you an example from us right now. What we just did. This is going to be the new format for Podcasters Business Insider. End of story. We're going to be shouting out to the people that are out there consuming our content, because we do appreciate you 100%. And we want to make sure that you are heard, not just in the comments, but you are actually heard, because right now we are streaming live on YouTube and LinkedIn to hundreds of people. And Raquel Knight 5992. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. So this is where the bigger guys, they fall. That's one place. And we're also changing the tone of the voice of Podcasters Business Insider. Last week, I was not happy with one of the lives. I was not happy at all. So I changed it. I changed it something to fit more me rather than what the corporate output from ChatGPT recommended. I didn't like it. So this is more me. This is more who I am. And that's what you need to do. Who are you? What's your voice? Speak your voice. Don't worry about the political correctness. Don't worry about it. It's funny because I used to joke that my goal was to get kicked off of YouTube. It's a lot harder now than it was a couple years ago. So, anyways, my goal is not to get kicked off of YouTube. It's not. My goal is to provide value to you, my follower, my follower. I hate using that term. The person who's consuming this. So before we wrap up, remember this: as you head into Thanksgiving week, whether you celebrate it or not, take a moment to appreciate how far you've come. Don't let the world tell you your voice doesn't matter. Don't let the establishment dictate what you can say or what you can become. Stay firm, build boldly, lead without fear. And if you're interested in creating your own podcast, download your free 15-step to kickstart your podcast and join the Rebel Intel newsletter. And remember, long live truth, long live integrity, long live the rebellion.